From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
I'm Brandon Warren, and coming up, we'll talk about enrollment numbers at Montana colleges.
Plus, months in the making and facing a fair share of critics, the state's first medical school officially breaks ground today in Billings. And tonight, more than 1,400 new active COVID-19 cases reported, along with 6 more virus-related deaths across the state. 5 of those 6 deaths from right here in Yellowstone, Custer, and Carbon counties. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us on your Monday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Those stories in a moment, but first. Breaking news tonight as a fast-moving wildfire is now threatening homes just north of Lewistown. Take a look at these photos sent into our newsroom from a Q2 viewer, John Cook. Now, that plume of smoke is hovering over the community right now. Firefighters tell us the South Moccasin fire was discovered just before 1 o'clock today and is currently moving northeast toward a subdivision off of South Moccasin Road. Although no homes have been evacuated yet at this hour. Now, early this afternoon, firefighters estimated that blaze at just 5 acres, but strong winds have fanned those flames and the fire is now much larger. The cause of the blaze is currently unknown. Stay tuned on air and online for the latest information. Now turning to Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh. Ed, right now, Facebook has been down since 10 o'clock this morning. The Weather Service is having trouble getting its information out. Plus, there's high winds in that area.
That's right. As we take a look, you can see the area that we're talking about is just north of the Lewistown area, a bit to the northwest. And while we're looking at stronger winds, we're also looking at fire weather conditions across much of the eastern plains. And this is going to persist right into tomorrow as well. Now, as of early afternoon, the wind started to increase in Lewistown area up to 20 miles an hour. You can see those stronger winds also around Livingston. That increases our fire risk locally, and the humidity numbers have been low as the teens throughout the afternoon. We'll talk about the effects in just a few minutes with the forecast.
Could a booster shot help bring COVID cases down across Montana? Well, that's something health officials are eager to find out. And as that happens, some in our community are grappling with the idea that a 3rd dose could help keep them safe. As Q2's Andrea Lutz found out, there's a lot of interest.
Now that the booster has been approved for COVID-19, clinics just like this are popping up in Montana. This is at MSUB in conjunction with Riverstone. And it's been a pretty busy clinic so far, about 100 people in 2 hours. In fact, so busy that they've had to bring in some extra nurses.
Shots in the arm. Done. Giving an added layer of protection for those like sophomore Raynell Clancy.
Oh yeah, I definitely wanted a booster.
She says she wanted a booster to protect those she loves most, those considered at risk.
Part of my family is immunocompromised, and I just want to make sure I'm safe and ready to see them.
And plenty more just like her also got their 3rd dose of the vaccine.
I have a high-risk medical condition that, kind of dictates that I should do that.
The CDC says those 65 and older, essential workers, those living in long-term care with an increased risk of infection or serious illness, and those pregnant are all eligible.
Plus, it helps out everybody else. Keeps the numbers where we need to be.
And that's the idea. Medical officials are hoping this added protection against the virus will keep numbers down. In our state, another 5 new deaths reported Monday. This as some 9,000 Montanans have now received that 3rd shot of the vaccine. It's something those who attended here hope will keep cases down and curb the virus.
So I did 30 years in the military, so I've had about every shot known to man. And there is a certain self-confidence and just kind of being prepared for whatever. I've got friends that had the vaccine and had COVID later, and they're very appreciative of the fact that they had the vaccine.
Raynell says she believes in the vaccine, and she's hoping that those she cares about most will also.
Like a lot of my family and everybody, I wish they would just get the vaccine.
In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
And as the debate over mask mandates in some Montana schools continues, a state district judge in Missoula says keep your masks on. Judge Jason Marks denied a request from the anti-mask parents in Missoula to block the local school district's face mask mandate. Now, Marks said he won't deny the school's ability to control the spread among children.
In Billings, state and local leaders broke ground on the state's first ever medical school, and the public got a first look at new renderings of the $50 million campus. The 135,000 square foot Montana College of Osteopathic Medicine will be operated by Rocky Vista University. The 4-year medical school will be located on Billings West End and is estimated to be complete in late 2022. The school will welcome its first class of 80 students in the summer of 2023, with plans to ramp up class size to 160 by 2025. The Billings Medical School will be the first in the state with a dedicated campus and will add to the 2 other Rocky Vista universities in Colorado and southern Utah. The school's leadership say it will change the medical education landscape in Montana. In the past, physicians in training have benefited from the WWAMI program, an education partnership between the University of Washington and hospitals in Wyoming, Washington, Alaska, Montana, and Idaho. There are several dozen doctors across the state that say there aren't enough positions at Montana hospitals for new students to do their residencies. We'll have reaction coming up tonight at 10. In Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
In 2020, college enrollment was down nationwide. But this year, many Montana colleges are reporting upticks in enrollment numbers.
Overall, enrollment was down 9% in 2020 from 2019.
Yeah, I think as a new freshman coming in, I would have been pretty apprehensive. Especially, college is a big thing. It's a big step moving forward.
MSU Billings fared better than most. Nationally, college enrollment shrunk 25% in 2020. UM in Missoula saw freshman enrollment fall 22% compared to 2019, while MSU in Bozeman stayed mostly steady. But there are signs of a rebound.
As we look at this year's numbers and the success in the various areas, the program enrollment and the new freshmen and transfers, overall, we're up 2.8% from 2020.
Fall 2021 enrollment data from Montana State University Billings shows a 10% increase in first-time freshman enrollment from fall 2020. The main campus of Montana State University in Bozeman is reporting the largest freshman class in their history, and that's not the only number on the rise.
We're also seeing an increase in our transfer students. So I'm seeing students coming from the community colleges in our region to transfer here to be able to finish their bachelor's degrees. I'm also really excited about the graduate student numbers that we are seeing for our Native American population. That number is up by 23% from last fall.
MSUB hopes to see enrollment continue to increase. In Billings, Brandon Warren, MTN News.
Coming up on tonight's MTN 530 News on Q2, a Red Lodge woman is chasing river dreams, taking what many of us in Montana consider to be a hobby and turning it into an international sport. We meet her just ahead.
The MTN 530 News continues right after this.